Fight forecast for UFC Fight Night: Hernandez versus Pereira. That itself is going to be a good fight. There, lower on the card, there are also some other great fights. Not great fights, but you kind of need those on a card. You can't just have like a perfect fight night card. First fight of the night though is great. Entertainment value at least. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna go for the Cuban Missile Crisis on this one for sure. I think last time out definitely got a little fraud checked with the grappling. He's such a big guy. He's got such a long reach that I think the grappling is going to be one of those places that's potentially concerning for him. But I think if he keeps it standing, this should be an easy night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think Austin Lane is going to like pose a wrestling threat. I mean, no. I'm sure he's been working on it, but I'm pretty sure he was a football player prior to MMA, so it's not like he really. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that would be his route to victory in this fight, clearly.
Yeah, if he doesn't want to get like highlight reel KO'd.
Even though like Robelis, it seems like if he can't finish you in the first round, he loses the power and kind of ability to stop people.
And that may be something to look at and to see if he's actually bothered to train on his gas tank at all. See if he's got his cardio up a little bit more, because that was a pretty noticeable flaw.
Yeah.
Is that if you can weather the storm, it's going to be an easy night for you by the second or third round for sure.
Yeah. I think he also just needs a little more time in the sport to get that fight IQ up a little bit. He when you're doing one sport for such a long time and then you enter another one, there can be a little bit of an adjustment period some people need to go through. But I do have Despain winning by first round KO here probably.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a safe bet.
Yeah. All right, Martin, this one's all you.
Melissa Martinez versus Alice Ardelin. This is going to be a pretty fun one to watch. If you're really looking for like a fun technical performance, this is not what you're going to see. You're going to see some sloppy fighting.
Yeah.
But definitely check out Alice Ardelin's Instagram if you got a chance. And you'll see why this is not the worst thing to start the night off after Robelis to Spain. That's going to keep some attention around for these next two fights,
All right.
This might be fight of the night for some. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I think Melissa Martinez is going to take this one. She's a little bit younger, has a better record. A little bit crisper striking. Alice Ardelin is not really good anywhere, but she can strike. She has a really nice wagon that she does not put to good use like, what's her name? Aline Perez does. She's not really a really good grappler or anything. So
it's not tossing people around.
It's going to be a decision probably at 29-28 for Melissa Martinez for me.
Ooh, getting specific with it. I think I'm in the same boat with you. I had Martinez winning this one as well. I think it's just going to be a situation of who's a little bit cleaner, and I think Martinez is there. She's got that Mexican fighting spirit. Let's see what she can do.
Yeah, more impressive start to her career.
Yeah.
So, take the momentum on that one. Next one, Elise Reed versus Jessica Penne. Another decision coming up. Jessica Penne's probably got the grappling advantage. Elise Reed, she keeps people at distance with her like side kicks. And at times she shows like flashes of like actually being able to put good combinations together, but she doesn't do it enough. I really don't know. I don't know.
It's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to go all 15 minutes. I've got Jessica Penne just squeaking this one out.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, man.
The next one I think does have kind of a little bit more of a clear winner. We got Jocelyn Edwards versus Tamiris Vidal. Tamiris Vidal has not won in the UFC yet. She doesn't hasn't really shown signs of being able to fight well at the high level. Jocelyn Edwards, on the other hand, has. She's given tough fights to some people. She's got double the experience, maybe even more, especially in the UFC. I'm going Jocelyn Edwards.
I think that's a safe bet on this one. Leon's long lost sister from Panama. We'll see
Yeah.
if she can get it done.
Yeah, dude, definitely Jocelyn Edwards is going to take this one. I think it's going to be another 29-28 decision, honestly. There's a theme here if you if you notice what's going on. But Jocelyn Edwards at least is able to has some thump and power in her hands. You could tell when she hits people that they don't really like it too much, but she just can't finish anybody.
Yeah, it's all decisions so far in the UFC, which is hey, well, it is what it is. It's not uncommon.
Tamires Vidal has gotten finished. Maybe this is the fight where Jocelyn Edwards has kind of a standout performance. Who knows? Tamires Vidal got KO'd by Melissa Gatto, who's like super skinny, but does have decent striking, So I don't know. Maybe Jocelyn Edwards can find a finish somewhere.
I like it.
All right, next one up. What do we got? Brad Katona versus Jean Matsumoto.
Yeah, I was just looking at this card here. It's not unclear that I am not a Brad Katona fan. I don't like him as a person. I don't necessarily care for his fighting style. I struggled to watch him when he was on the anybody that can make it on the Ultimate Fighter, win the Ultimate Fighter, get cut, come back, win it again, do it again. Yeah, okay, cool. I guess, man.
But that's like what
PG has been his home for a while, and I don't know that they've necessarily had anybody outstanding come out of there for quite a while.
Yeah, and I mean, we have had stories where it's like fighters have a first run in the UFC, they get cut, they do well, and then they get brought back, and then they do really well. Brandon Moreno comes to mind. But Brad, I mean, winning the Ultimate Fighter, getting cut, and then not coming directly back into the UFC because you're getting like a bunch of knockouts outside. They're like, we'll bring you back, but to the Ultimate Fighter again. It's like that's not really like the route that a champion usually takes. We've never really seen that.
No, it's tough. John Matsumoto's been on a pretty decent run here too. He looks really good. Yeah. I think this is going to be a good chance for Brad Katona to see whether or not he should be competing in that top half of the division. And for John, I think it's a potentially big name to kind of springboard off of into some bigger fights.
I think it's a good fight for Matsumoto. I think it could end up being like a close fight. They have a similar build. Matsumoto is a bit cleaner and better with his range in the kickboxing. He's got really good range, lands clean shots. Brad Katona did have an entertaining fight his last time out, but it was against a dude. I think his record was something like 12-6. He was making his debut, and he made a good fight for himself. But an exciting fight against a debuting guy. Not necessarily like a performance you want to be seeing from Brad Katona, a guy who's been around for a while. So I will go with Matsumoto. He's undefeated. He's got, really crisp striking, great takedown defense. I'll probably go with him to get it done, probably by decision.
I think it's going to be a decision.
Yeah, Matsumoto is going to be my pick as well. Okay. I think Katona had like T-Rex arms, and he tries to fight real long, but he just doesn't have the reach for it.
Yeah, and
Matsumoto actually has the reach to fight long, and he does fight long.
Really I'd be good with range. To see what their reach difference is here.
I'm looking at it now. I'll let you know here as soon as it loads.
Yeah, Brad Katona 64.5-inch reach.
Yeah.
That's small.
That's T-Rex arms, bro.
68. Yeah, for sure. John Matsumoto's going to get it done in the striking.
I think Katona will have moments, though. I feel like he might get it
on
the inside on the pocket and then possibly drop him a couple times, but I feel like, if you want the safe bet, probably Matsumoto by decision.
Yeah.
Featured prelim, Asu Almabayev versus Mateus Nicolau.
That's the first fight on the main. The Brad Katona fight's the featured prelim.
On here, on UFC, on Google right here, it says Asu Almabayev, Mateus Nicolau is the last fight of the prelims.
Oh, no shit, huh? I wonder if they had a fight canceled. Dang, fair enough.
I think there was a fight canceled.
Must have been.
But
I've got Almabayev in this one. I think we've seen,
Yeah.
we talked about it on our last video. The stands are the exception, right? You have a lot of that kind of regional questionable technique, and then the stands seem to be where that kind of excels.
Yeah, Kazakh fighters have historically done really well in MMA.
And we were just looking. Mateus Nicolau has had a rough go recently of it. He lost not too long ago to Royval.
Which not a bad loss,
Not a bad loss at all. Yeah. But I think he's in one of those positions where, he's ranked 7. Asu is 14. So this is potentially a really big jump for Almabayev to make it into the top 10. And I think they may be setting him up to do so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, man, Mateus Nicolau, he's one of these guys who he's kind of like a Schnell. He's got a suspect chin. I mean, KO'd by Alex Perez, KO'd by Brandon Royval. Yeah, I mean,
in a 3-rounder
decision loss to Manel Kopp.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
Oh,
with a knee.
He beat Manel Kopp by decision earlier in his career, but I think Almabayev's a little bit more dangerous than Manel Kopp.
In the grappling. Yeah. I feel like he's gonna smudge grapple him for this one. Possibly get the finish, maybe break him.
Break him.
Yeah.
But he averages 6 takedowns. That's 6.68 takedowns, and then his takedown accuracy is pretty high too, at 60%.
Okay, that's good. That's not a guy who's pressing people up against the cage. That's a guy who's chain wrestling and taking people down.
Yeah, dude. I feel like he's gonna break him probably.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen some really good situations where that's been working for folks, right? We saw it with Moicano. We saw it with Grant Dawson. Like, effective grappling and effective wrestling can be really beneficial to get to a finish, as long as the goal is not to get to a decision.
Yeah.
And what's cool too is if we get enough of these guys that are just taking people down and using their grappling advantage and like causing damage, keeping the fight moving. Because another thing too is the Tatsuro Taira versus Royval. There was a lot of grappling, not a lot of ground and pound, but there was a lot of motion in their scrambles, a lot of attempts of submissions that would create openings for the other person to get moving.
Yeah, Royval did not want to accept position, and he didn't, but he just had a hard time getting out. Taira has a really great body triangle. It was just tough.
But if you get enough of these really entertaining grapplers in there, it's gonna really fucking make the ones that smudge grapple and just fucking hold on look like shit. You know what I'm saying?
I think, like, I say this all the time, but if you're coming into MMA and you say you're a lifelong wrestler, you are not going to lose that wrestling if for a couple training camps you only practice boxing and ground and pound. You know what I mean? Like, if you're one of these guys coming in and you're a pure wrestler, or at least that's your specialty, do a couple training camps in a row where you're just boxing and just doing ground and pound techniques. I think that would benefit a lot of guys, and goes the opposite way for strikers. Go a couple training camps where you're only doing wrestling. If you grew up as a kickboxer and you have 100 kickboxing, one of these guys who's coming into the UFC and they're like, oh my God, he was 70-3 in kickboxing. It's like, you should be only wrestling.
Yeah.
But
we know you know how to strike. Yeah. You're gonna be good.
And you're not gonna forget it. Your muscle memory, you're not gonna forget it. But anyway, let's move on to the main card. Darren Elkins versus Daniel Pineda is the first fight on the main card. Very low stakes fight here.
Low stakes, but I think fun. I like Darren Elkins, good old damage. Coming off of a win, he's not necessarily ever been a really high-level competitor. I don't know that we've ever considered Darren Elkins to be one of those guys, especially in the featherweight division, that's going to be a title contender necessarily. But I think that he's shown those moments, those little flashes in the pan where it's like, oh, okay, this guy could be successful. We've seen him be successful, and then we've seen him fall short.
Yeah.
That being said, Daniel Pineda's had a really rough go recently. He's unfortunately lost to some pretty questionable fighters as far as his recent losses go.
Yeah, his UFC run has been rough.
I think I got Elkins in this one.
I picked Elkins as well. I think they're both gritty, but if this is if this is gonna come down to grit, I'm gonna pick Darren Elkins to out grit Pineda. They've both been in a ton of fights, taken damage. They've both taken damage. So, Darren Elkins.
Yeah.
Next one, two pretty young guys, both pretty new to the UFC, but they've had a couple fights in the UFC, had success. Brady Hiestand, I'm pretty sure he was the Ultimate Fighter winner, right? Did he beat Brad Katona? Was that season?
I think he might have lost to Katona. I think Katona won it again.
Right.
Yeah, right. Katona won.
Sorry, but that was the same season, right?
I believe so.
But Brady Hiestand is a good fighter.
Yeah.
He is a good fighter. He's got great wrestling. He's strong. He's big for the division. He's really big. And Jake Hadley, also a grappling background, but small for the division.
He has some good striking too, Jake Hadley.
Yeah.
He's but they're both real scrappy.
They're both primarily grapplers.
Yeah, and Hadley's had some moments here and there. He's had some good fights. I'm just looking back at his record here.
He's coming off a win, I believe.
He's
a really nice one. His last win was sick.
Yeah.
His last win, he had a decision not too long ago.
He lost
to Johnson. He did beat Gordon, though, which, I guess if we're calling that anything, is not a terrible win. But
I don't know. Gordon's a nothing fighter to me, really.
Yeah, Malcolm Gordon's technically competing at flyweight, so I think he went up into
lost
bantamweight.
To Cody Durden, Durden is a good fighter.
Yeah.
So no shame in that one. But
not a bad record. He's definitely been tested, and he's been tested early. I think it could go either way. I've got Jake in this one just because I like English fighters, and I'd like to see more of those do well. But I think this is the toss-up.
Yeah, dude, Jake Hadley for sure.
I'm gonna be the contrarian here. I'm going Brady Hiestand. I think he's gonna get it done by TKO. I think he's gonna be a little too strong for Hadley. I think he's gonna take Hadley down. Maybe even round one. I see Hiestand as this guy who's like, he's got great grappling and he's really tough, and he wants to inflict damage. Like he wants to, you know what I mean? And he seems like a guy who is getting better at becoming the fighter that he wants to be. So I think I see Hiestand coming out, taking him down pretty easily. You just got to watch out for the submission game of Hadley.
Yep.
That's all. But I see him being a little too strong for Hadley in the grappling and being able to control him and hopefully get off some good shots from the top.
Nice.
So that's that. All right, on to the next one, which is
flyweight bout. Charles Johnson versus Suma Derji.
I like watching Charles Johnson fight a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I think he's very, very entertaining. He's got cardio for days. He was a track and field Olympian, so he's got cardio better than almost anyone in the UFC. It's crazy. Coming off a good win, I believe, right? I mean, he's had some, finished Joshua Van.
Oh, nice.
Which is a really good win. He's got a win over Jake Hadley, decision win over Jake Hadley. He's got, some split decision, some weird split decision stuff, decision loss to Cody Durden, decision loss to Ode Osborne.
Makayev.
Lost to Makayev, but Makayev is good. We hate seeing him fight.
Yeah.
He's good at being boring, that's for sure. You know what I'm
saying? Suma Derji is exciting. I think he'll want to bring the fight to Charles, and I think that's good for Charles.
I think this is going to be one of those situations where we talked about it earlier on this card too. First round. First round is going to be the best bet. I think it's the same as Robelis, where Suma Derji has 13 wins by knockout, 11 of which came in the first round. So if his odds are going to be there, it's going to be for that early finish. It's
Charles
going to be a
Johnson
knockout.
is hard to finish, dude.
And that's where it's
really
going to be
hard
a
to
big
finish.
question. That's going to be the big question here is, can it be enough to do it? Because I think if it's going to happen, that's where it's going to happen. And I'm going to put I've got Suma Derji winning this one. I think by knockout, and if it's going to happen, it's going to be first round.
Oh.
Yep.
Interesting. What do you think, Martin?
Yeah, I think that's his best chance of winning this fight. I think if it starts going into the second and third, I think we're going to see that gas tank of Johnson really play a key element here, and his pressure might become too much in the later rounds.
I think I'm going to go with the Charles Johnson decision here. I think Sumudaerji is going to come out and have a lot of success in that first round, swanging and banging. But at the same time, I don't think Johnson is going to get finished. He's really good at staying safe.
Yeah.
And especially like against big punchers, like Joshua Van is a really good boxer. He's really good at like getting clean shots.
Yeah, that was a big tell for his defensive skills.
So, and then he still found the KO there, which was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, I think I got Johnson by decision. I don't think he's gonna have too many threats. If he's gonna win a decision, if he's gonna win and it's gonna be by decision, I don't think he's gonna be able to engage too much with Sumudaerji. You know what I'm saying? He's probably gonna be on the outside along the fence, picking and then like possibly shooting from there too.
Yeah, I find it the same way. Charles is really good defensively. He never backs straight up. He's always cutting angles, rolling, shoulder rolling, doing whatever he's got to do so he doesn't get hit clean. And that's really going to be the key for him in this fight is staying defensively sound, doing his best to not get hit clean. I don't think Sumudaerji really brings anything that Charles hasn't seen before and hasn't been able to deal with. Sumudaerji got finished by, good guys in the division, but Matt Schnell, who just retired, he got finished by him. He got finished by Tim Elliott. I don't like that. I don't like seeing that.
That's a tough one.
And I think Charles Johnson is better than Tim Elliott, even though I think, I may be wrong here, but I think they've probably fought. Tim Elliott's probably beat Charles Johnson. But I think where they are at right now, I think Charles Johnson is a better fighter.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of movement within the flyweight division recently. Obviously, the last 2 weeks having some bigger flyweight fights on it.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see that division moving around and seeing kind of how everything shakes out because it has been in limbo for a bit at this point, right? Yeah. We got stuck with Moreno versus Figgy, 4 times?
Yeah, that was wild.
And we've had major kind of hindered the division's movement, I think, for a little bit. And now we're just seeing all of it start to pile up, which is good, but we'll see how it all shakes out by the end of this.
The division is like almost the best it's ever been right now. And with a couple good guys who recently have gotten great wins on the Contender Series too. There are some, it's looking good for the flyweight division. I'll say that.
It's always fun to watch. You just don't necessarily expect those like big highlight reel, getting completely knocked out cold kind of finishes that you see in other divisions that I think people are getting a little spoiled with.
I think we're starting to see more of it though. And I think what, kind of fuels that is we have a pretty dominant champion.
Yeah, Pantoja.
A guy who's been at the top of the division for a long time, and now is on his 3rd title defense. I like to see it. But next matchup is in the bantamweight division.
Yeah.
Rob Font versus Kyler Phillips. Good matchup.
Great matchup.
Yeah, this is a good one.
I'm not the biggest fan of Kyler Phillips. He does a whole lot of stuff in there, but he doesn't really try to implement one game plan.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like weird.
Almost like a button masher, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's kind of a button masher,
Yeah, dude. With my pick on this one, Rob Font, I think, is going to jab his way to a 3-round decision. Real solid jab fundamentals. They're around the same size, same reach. Font has one of the best jabs at bantamweight.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna land. And unless Kyler Phillips implements a strong game plan with involving a lot of kicks, I feel like he's gonna be in trouble against Rob Font. And Rob Font is gonna be hungry.
Right.
I will say the last time Rob Font won a decision was in 2021 against Cody Garbrandt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every fight that's gone to decision, Rob Font has lost since Cody Garbrandt.
And Kyler Phillips is a decision guy.
And he is a decision guy. The last time Rob Font really had a decisive win was against Yanez. He knocked him out in the 1st round.
Beautiful.
Good
But
win.
we are talking about a guy that's been tested consistently. Like, I'm just looking at his last fights. We've got Garbrandt, we've got Aldo, we've got Pereira, we've got Yanez, we've got Sandhagen, we've got Figueiredo. Like, they haven't given him any layups in a long time.
No, I
he
think
was up
that's
there fucking around in the top 5, bro, and that's what you get, you know?
I mean,
That's
he just fought Figueiredo last year. It's been a year since he fought. It was against Figueiredo. He took him all the way to decision and ultimately lost that. But to fight Sandhagen and Figueiredo, you know, back to back, quote unquote, right? As far as his last 2 fights go, and taking them both all the way to decision, regardless of the outcome, says something about the fact that he's not somebody that's easy to finish. It's not somebody that's going to get taken out quickly. And I don't know that Kyler Phillips is going to have anything that's going to be able to provide that danger.
What do you think about, who do you think has the grappling advantage? Because I see Kyler Phillips being able to take him down at times.
Yeah. I think Font's always been a better striker.
Yeah, of course.
But whether it, you know, the grappling plays a huge role here, I don't know, because he's fought a lot of grapplers.
He's missed grab on the ground.
With reasonable success. But, you know, the last couple ones that Rob Font's won, he's won via KO. So I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen standing.
Kyler
it may
Phillips,
even happen early.
Dude, I will say, like, Kyler Phillips is not this guy who, like, he's a bad matchup for Rob Font, because Kyler Phillips is this guy who dances around the cage. He's not going to bring the fight to Rob. Rob is going to be pressuring, trying to find his jab. Kyler's going to be annoying. He's going to be circling. He's going to be just fucking basically running away from Rob the entire time. It's going to be, I can already see it. It's going to be really, really annoying to watch.
Yeah.
I'm going against my heart on this one. Like, I think we all want Rob to win. And we all, like, envision this thing where, like, please just fucking, like, sting him with your jab until his face looks like chop meat and they have to stop it. But I'm going against my heart here. I'm going with the smart pick, which I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do more of. I'm going with Phillips. He's, I think, like 27 or 28 years old.
Yeah.
I think he trains with O'Malley, or has trained with O'Malley. Something, you know what I mean? Font is like 37 years old, hasn't won a good fight in a long time. And although I want him to get a good win, I just don't think this is going to be it.
Fair.
So I'm going Phillips.
Hey, I like it.
Regrettably, though, I don't want to.
Regrettably.
Main event.
Yeah.
Fluffy Hernandez versus Michelle Pereira.
This one's going to be cool. You know what I mean? Like, some fights you're just like, ooh. Some fights are good fights. Some fights are brutal. I'm like, this fight is going to be cool.
This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah. I like watching Hernandez grapple.
Yeah.
They both have a lot of experience here. Michelle's been on a bit of a tear. I think ever since he kind of stopped trying to backflip onto people and do cartwheel kicks and all this crazy shit.
Dude,
he's really,
his last loss was to like basically a featherweight. I think Tristan Connolly, which where the fuck has he been? He I'm pretty sure he was a featherweight that took, and this was when Pereira was cutting down to welterweight. So Tristan Connolly was like, yeah, I'll come up 2 weight classes and give up 40 pounds to this dude and
boxed him up.
Beat him, dude. It was crazy. And since then he beat the shit out of Diego Sanchez, I think, and hasn't lost since then, which was like 2020.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, I'm just looking back here at Pereira's recent record, and I mean, man, his last 3 fights have all been first round finishes, 2 submissions, 1 knockout.
Yeah. Beast.
Prior to that, he took Ponzinibbio to a decision.
Yeah, I will say he did backflip kick Ior Potieria in the face while he was on the ground.
You know,
they didn't.
You know, we let it slide,
that
bro.
one.
We let that slide sometimes.
We were like, oh shit! Like the ref was like just looking at the backflip. He was like, oh shit, that's cool, and he didn't even like look at it. Yeah, right on the face.
You know, he's just fought. He's fought a decent caliber of opponent again consistently. Right, his last couple fights have not necessarily been layups. he's shown that he's found something.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, I don't know, but he seems to have found his stride in his last few fights.
Well,
He's been exciting and he's been good at finishing.
I think moving up to 185 was an amazing move for him.
Yeah.
I think I don't understand. I mean, he's a big middleweight. Cutting down to 170 was like crazy, and he missed weight a couple times. So, and then lost to a featherweight because he like gassed out doing backflips and jumping off the cage in the first round. 185 was the move for him. And we haven't seen as much flashy shit. Occasionally he'll do something cool. Like he knew he was going to beat the fuck out of Pereira.
Yeah.
So he decided to backflip onto his chin. But oh my God. He has been really impressive. But he's got a tough test.
He does.
Anthony Hernandez has been doing great.
Yeah.
Like he's one of these guys that just like I don't know whether people I don't know if people underestimate him because of his stature or his whatever, but man, he's good. He's really skilled.
Yeah, I mean, he's had another pretty reasonable test recently. I mean, his last fight out was against Kopylov.
He's got a
second round decision against him, which, hey, that's not nothing. He beat Edmund Shabazian via knockout in the third round.
Yeah.
He got a submission against Beralt. He fought Fremd. He fought Vieira. He fought Holland. He did lose to Holland. He got knocked out in 30 seconds against Kevin Holland, but that was 2020, so there's only so much you can say about that.
I remember that one. And I think that was kind of like Kevin's prime.
It was. That was peak Kevin. That was when Fight Island was a big thing, and Kevin Holland was fighting every other week, basically.
He went on to like knock out Jacare Souza shortly after that in the same year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Buckley knockout was around there too.
Yep.
Goddamn. Yeah, he was killing it at that time.
That was an unfortunate time to run into Kevin Holland, for sure.
Yeah. I am gonna lean towards Pereira in this fight. I don't think the gas tank is going to be an issue. It hasn't really seemed to be much of an issue for him at 185, and especially like calming down all the crazy shit that he does.
Yeah.
And saving it just for kind of key moments. I think he's much stronger. His jiu-jitsu is great. I think Hernandez probably has the advantage in technicality in the jiu-jitsu. But, man, Pereira is very good on the ground.
He's big, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's big and he's explosive.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably going to be the biggest weapon that he could utilize against Hernandez is those moments where explosiveness is going to win
the kicks to the body, knees up the middle.
Yeah.
And he has all of the tools to essentially, like, it's not like Hernandez has the cleanest entries, but once he gets close to you, you're fucked.
Yeah.
He's able to just chain grapple. So I feel like Pereira's good enough to, like, at least front kick to the bodies, throw knees in there.
But he's
a lot of straight punches to catch him.
He's very strong in the clinch as well. Like, I don't know. I'd be surprised if Hernandez would be able to take down and hold down Pereira. He's very, very strong. I mean, they both are, but I don't think anyone in the division is as strong as Pereira. He's just kind of like a freak athlete.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think this could potentially be like fight of the night, split decision type of deal.
Yeah, it's going to be it could very well be a split decision because like Pereira comes out, dominates the first 3 rounds. Maybe there's one swing round in there.
Yeah.
Then Hernandez's cardio carries him, like gets him a dominant last 2 rounds,
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Yeah,
I think it could be a fun one.
Yeah.
I mean, it will be a fun one, no matter how it goes, I think.
It will. But I think it'll make it all the way. I think both of these guys are really hard to finish. I think they're going to have trouble putting each other away. Unless like Hernandez pushes a really high pace and tries to wear on the cardio of Pereira, because 5 rounds, it's quite a bit.
That's a big thing, dude. And that's a weapon for Hernandez for sure.
Yeah.
His whole style, built around like chain wrestling, fence wrestling, draining you down, dude, and then getting the submission or the ground and pound finish.
Yeah.
But Pajeda's fucking strong, dude.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards him.
Very strong.
I'm leaning towards Pereira to win enough of the early rounds. I could see maybe Hernandez winning a round 4 or a round 5, but
Yeah.
yeah, I could see Pereira taking it split decision.
I'm gonna take it, Michelle, for 1, 3, and 5.
Ooh, all right, 1, 3, 5.
1, 3, and 5, because we all know that's the magical number.
All right.
It's what gets you your wins.
All right.
Mentally undefeated. It's still an O. Nice.
Cool.
It's a good card.
Sorry to leave you in the dust there, but
Oh, yeah, it's good, bro. That's what
right.
what unfortunately happened to Sean too. So
Martin, you going with Pereira as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Had to
I'll
think
go
about
All
it.
right. All right.
Yeah, dude, because I actually really see Hernandez's path to victory. Like, I'm telling you, draining the cardio, it's because it is suspect,
Yeah.
5 rounds of heavy grappling defense. How is he going to be able to explode in the, 3rd, 4th, and 5th even?
Yeah.
But what I do think, though, should happen is the winner of this fight probably should fight like the winner of Bo Nickel, Paul Craig.
Ooh.
Or even the loser,
that.
bro. Start moving up.
That's not
I
bad.
want to see. It would be sick if like Pereira's are able to defend Hernandez's grappling.
Yeah.
To see because I really think Bo Nickel's gonna fuck up Paul Craig, but the winner of that fight.
I think Bo Nickel's gonna get caught in a triangle.
That'd bum me out a little bit.
I see it.
I think he's gonna knock him out. I don't think he's gonna entertain him on the ground at all. I think he's just gonna fucking box him up.
That's
just gonna keep it standing.
It could.
That's what you got to do against Paul Craig.
That's for another card though. This I am pretty excited for this one. I think we got some good picks. I think we're going to be right about most of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a wrap on Fight Forecast for UFC Fight Night. Pereira versus Hernandez.
Hell yeah.
Peace.